Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and today we're looking at Merrily Perilly. So this is the next game made from the creators of TikTok Isle, which I just looked at. It was a 2-hour, very linear game. I think I probably inaccurately described Merrily Perilly as a game where you try to kill yourself. I think actually you're trying not to kill yourself. It's just comedic events happen where you are constantly putting yourself in further danger in an effort to not have it happen. Um, there is some slight improvements in that this game has actual achievements, but and it does seem to it uses Unity, and it does seem to actually support going into full screen in a proper way. Uh, but then there's still no progress really several years later. Like, this was at least 3 years after TikTok Isle came out. I think TikTok Isle was 2015. This game is 2018. Um, the volume is still fairly loud compared to other games, just kind of not normalized. You have a weird default setting here where music and sound effects are uh, at like 75%, but voice is at 50%. But we do have voice acting now, apparently. So that's an improvement. There are now controls other than just using a keyboard, but there is, by default, no WASD support. Instead, it's just arrows, the arrow keys, and the letter Z, which is way on the other side of the keyboard. So there's not really good reason. You can see this isn't. While this probably is going to be slightly more of a game with actual puzzles and interaction, whereas TikTok Isle was fairly just wandering around finding the items you need to find and then finding the place to drop the items you needed to find. Uh, it's not getting super detailed, and you can certainly see that when you look at the gamepad support, which it does now have, but notice that of all the buttons on a gamepad, only 2 are being used, and the analog left stick. I'm not even sure if the D-pad would duplicate the analog left stick, which it's fairly easy to do that. In fact, it's fairly easy if you're not doing anything at all to have a couple different modes where you could have the buttons, the A, B, X, Y, duplicated with the D-pad and then the movement with the right stick, just in case somebody wants it like that. Or you could have all movement on the left analog stick, the D-pad, or the right analog stick in case somebody only has one hand. You could have action also duplicated on the X button and cancel on the Y button. That way, there's the buttons are at least doing something. Could also have action and cancel duplicated on the left trigger and the right trigger, left bump, right bump, since you've got those buttons anyways. But even at those complaints, which that's kind of a medium tier level complaint to not have controller support, what is a very low level and realistic complaint to make on this menu is the fact that it doesn't support any of the control stick at all. So we still, at the very beginning of the game, had to press Z to start, and then we're gonna have to hit Enter to play, which, yeah, if you're gonna add controller support, you probably would have done that in the hopes of putting your game on a console like a Nintendo Switch or something, and then the menu would have had to support controller also. So that doesn't really make any sense. In fact, the whole reason why there is a screen that's plus press start to go into the main menu, and it doesn't just jump into the main menu, is for console rules and regulations. PC gaming, you could literally just launch the application into the main game and nobody would really complain. At the very least, you could launch into the menu. I suppose at that level, that's all the setup we have and need, so let's begin. Okay. So, let me just moving the controller, and it's not working at all. Now it is after I unplugged it in. So we're dying of dehydration in the top left. We're supposed to go up here and drink water, and now we're poisoned. So we'll press A. What's the reason for your visit today? I've been bit by a poisonous snake. This doesn't sound like voice acting, no. Do you mean a venomous snake? Doesn't matter. Very much so. Venomous organisms deliver their toxins directly, whereas poisonous organisms typically do not. Now, look in the top left while we're in this conversation. It seems like time is moving a little bit slower. How can I tell if a snake bit was venomous or poisonous? I've never heard of a poisonous snake, so if you're feeling it, it's most likely venomous. Maybe may I have some anti-venom now? The World Health Organization prefers the term anti-venom. What did he say? Okay, I'll have some of that then. Thanks. Side effects may include upset stomach and diarrhea. Alright, well the thing is, where's your hurry, son? If you don't take time to enjoy life, then you're gonna miss out. Yeah, it seems like... Just a minute, splash. I'll be right out. Flush. I just need to wash my hands. Explosion. The toilet exploded, so I'm staying inside. Quack. Shh. Alright, so... This is an interesting idea that falls apart, I think, fairly quickly if you have... If it goes too long. You don't look so good. I don't feel so good. Just because the graveyard has an all-you-can-eat buffet doesn't mean you should eat there. So we're like desperately looking for things, but we're going to die, I think, of diarrhea. Barry messed his pants. Well, maybe not always die, and that was an achievement. Barry found a half-drunk juice box on the ground. The minuscule moisture satiated his thirst until Perry found his way back to town. Alright, so that's just a no-go area. Welcome to the graveyard. Please, I need water. Enjoy a complimentary bowl of our new batch of sweet and spicy gravy. This isn't bad. What's in it? It's our original gravy recipe, chock full of prunes and peppers. Oh, I gotta go. Come back here again. So in that case, we skipped the snake and now are at the diarrhea stage. We need to probably die of dehydration to start with, and I assume these aren't going to just all be D letter things. Precious potty, sweet relief. No toilet paper, no. Oh, there it is. Alright, so we're now back to dehydration, which I guess technically everyone is always dying of dehydration, just very slowly, as we constantly need water to replenish fluids. Here's a bear, so I assume the bear would probably attack us. Much like TikTok Isle, this does feel like this is going to be a smaller game. Like a lot of copy and pasting of trees and such. But there is more of an action here from the top-down perspective. More things to interact with, more of an open world. But I can't help but feel like this is fairly well a joke game too. Barry passed out. No achievement for that. And see, the problem you'd run into here is that either there's a solution here to solve dehydration without poisoning you any further, which would be silly because then you'd stumble upon it fairly easily, or at least some players would, or there is no solution. They says if I ever get lost in the woods, I'll always find refuge in the Abbey. I think Refuge is the name of the Abbey's cat. I haven't poked him yet. There is a guy in a hat hidden back here, or an animal back there. I think we probably were supposed to talk to this guy. Welcome to our town. Please help me, I desperately need water. Welcome to our town. Thanks, but I'm severely dehydrated. Welcome to our town. I'm about to pass out. Welcome to our town. Very passed out. Yeah. I think there's just a decent chance that you are going to have to go through a long list here, and then the long list is going to follow here. And see, we have posters here for this is Grave of the Fireflies poster, which is what they're airing. And I couldn't really tell you what these other posters are supposed to represent. But I can tell you Grave of the Fireflies is a Ghibli movie about two siblings who are homeless and starved to death. It's incredibly sad, so if you were to go watch it. I don't sell water, I sell tickets. Is there water inside? I don't know. I'll have to get the manager. You can't go in there. So, in a game about death, then Grave of the Fireflies is kind of an accurate reference. The previous game, TikTok Isle, had a lot of that also. A lot of references in the poster to its own detriment, considering how there was, I put a bowler on a bear. He looked as snazzy as he did grizzly. I wonder if he still wears it. TikTok Isle had a lot of posters and references in a bunch of empty rooms, whereas this game has taken more of a traditional stance of just having big open fields, where it is fairly reasonable and believable that a field would be big and empty. Please don't prance on my pansies, penny poison pus. Have you heard of a hospital? Yes, sorry. So they are gonna tell you some helpful things. There is a slight problem here where you would just kind of constantly either do the same thing over and over again, or you're going to look for different things. Let's see, if we run to this place. Hello, please, I need water. I just put fresh water in the stoop. So now our faith is up. And are we dying of faith? Why isn't anything bad happening to me? Maybe you're having a crisis of faith, or perhaps it will be the of Lord. It is the will of Lord Helix. Interesting. You have a Lord Helix, but then you still have crosses. Okay, now we are surrounded by bees. Now we're underwater and we're drowning. Now we have leeches. Watch where you're winding on my wisterias, William Warmweaver. Sorry. So like every line of dialogue here is going to potentially, let's see if any of these slide or move when I push on them. It's going to be potentially rewritten No bees. This leech is drinking me dry. You don't need to worry about that. Blah. Ow. So now we're bleeding. Because a vampire bit us. What does he say this time? Please stay for another drink. I gotta go. Hey. Hi. What happened to you? Would you believe that I hurt myself falling for you? No, but I believe you got mauled by a bear or a Dracula. That's a case of them reusing dialogue. That also could have happened. You're bleeding all over the dock. Well, since you're so worried, I'll visit the hospital. Is there a pause, like, screen here? Yeah, again, this feels like this is going to be a fairly short game. But a more of a game. Funnier. That's the reason I'm bleeding here. We received a bandage and we're just back to dehydration. I managed to stop the bleeding, but you're looking dehydrated. Be sure to drink lots of water. Thanks. So it almost seems like A, we're gonna have to die with everything, and B, I could probably just get thrown in the well. Do you have any water? I previously poured a pitcher of my pretty pink on my pretty pink poppies. Patty parched pout. Ask at the Abbey. Let's see. You drink this and you're drowning. Okay. Hi, I'm Pokey. I'm looking for sunken treasure below. I've found this diving helmet. You could probably use it more than me. You got diving helmet. You didn't get air tank. So now we're drowning in water. Although, truthfully, this is probably salt water and you can't drink it. So... It seems like what you've got to do is probably... Yeah, and I'm not even reading the dialogue out here. Is there another option? Sorry. Do you want me to kick you in the face? I think I'll get a second opinion. I mean, it's not particularly hard to get somebody to pull off a leech. Who's this guy? Do you have a coin? No, just this leech. I can't wish on a leech. So we did seem to move the story forward somewhat by getting the diving helmet. Let's see. And I guess you can trade and see, you're gonna eventually just realize that you have to buy yourself time here, because that's pretty much all you've got as an option. And that is just gonna set you back into a pattern and unlock some gates versus other things. I will say, this is one of these games that was quick looked by Giant Bomb back when I was particularly being influenced by Giant Bomb's quick looks of games, and it looked very interesting, but much like the instances of the screenshots, there's not a lot here. Just got hit by lightning and got a baseball cap. Why do I need a baseball cap though? Let's see. I should go to the Dracula. Yeah, let's just do that. Leech is drinking me dry. You don't need to worry about that. Blah. Ow. But yeah, this game clearly is fairly short, unless I've just missed entire sections so far. I'm bleeding here. So we're back to, I managed to stop the bleeding, but you're looking dehydrated. Be sure to drink lots of water. Let's see if this guy has something. Do you need a hand? No, I need a vet to treat my cat. But isn't this a hospital? I don't want to hear none of your excuses. Just fix the cat. Here we now have a coonskin cap. But I'm not a vet, and this isn't even a cat. Boy, what did I tell you about excuses? Now get. Okay. So it does seem to me like dehydration is your default state. Alright. And yeah, you are just going to have to constantly bounce in and out of being poisoned and being dehydrated. So you're going to see the same dialogue over and over again. In fact, it might frankly have been better for this game to not potentially have voice acting, because it would be so repetitive. If it did have voice acting, that it would become a problem. And the way this is all built up, it definitely does feel like you, and if you could just get faith and then leave through some kind of secret passage. Again, you can't drink the holy water again. So come up here with the bees. Keep your bees to yourself. Keep your bees to yourself. So that says no bees. And I guess we'll just keep on playing. And bees didn't seem like they did anything. So the no bees problem. Is your dad a beekeeper? Why do you ask? Is it because I'm sweet as honey? No. I have a bee problem and could really use some help. Well, oh, well, actually he was. Here. Thanks for the burning. And then you can jump in the other direction, I guess. And then you have a leech. And we're gonna have to find somebody else that would take the leech off. Well, this guy's getting more and more decorated. My hatter is a big fan of Legos. Interesting. So we're looking for like a kid? Probably. Let's see. Let's see if we can make it to the hospital. And well, we didn't quite make it to the hospital with the leech still on us. If we were poisoned and we jump in the ocean, it won't let us. It does kind of just feel like we are looking for yeah, it kind of does seem like we are just looking for the same thing over and over again, or different combinations and different solutions. Hmm. Hmm. Graveyard. Graveyard. Hmm. 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 Yeah. I'm kind of running out of combinations here, and I probably want to dive like, let's see if I can find some other bathrooms. May I use your restroom? I'm sorry, but they're currently being cleaned. Okay. Well, this guy's getting taller so we can reach a higher place. Oh, my hat says made of beef jerky so I can eat my hat at the drop of a hat. Alright. Diarrhea. Diarrhea in the ocean is not a bad way to switch things around. I guess at some point we are looking for a coin. Is there any way to leave this without having a leech? Probably not. I have a leech on my face. We don't treat leeches here. You need to see a vet. Okay. After bath time, Growl Tiger always climbs up the curtains. Like, this whole section over here feels like this would lead to something else. What's brown and sticky? A leech? No, a stick. We've made so much progress, it's just not worth it to let yourself die. And so they've put this specifically so that you can just do this same action over and over again when it feels like there should have been like multiple actions or solutions, and it doesn't really feel like there is a case of that. May I use your restroom? Do you have a reservation? No. Next available time is an hour. Would you like me to pencil in? No thanks. Alright, so we know we've not gone inside the gypsy cart. So obviously there's something to those. Probably gonna get a coin from that. And it feels like there should be some more barriers. Notice how these trees are also kind of clipping. Not animating quite right. Let's see. You want I should tell your fortune. I just need some water. Do I look like a fountain? No, ma'am. Get out of my face. So she'll tell a fortune. You want I should tell your fortune? It's just the exact same scene in red. When you're in dehydration mode, the bear is here, sleeping at the tree. Alright, we pass out. Does that mean now we have started over? Yeah. So we can't see. I've been practicing my ventriloquism. Want to hear me speak while drinking a glass of water? I need water. So do I. It's part of my act. Okay, let's run up here and see if progress has been saved. No, it hasn't. So let's see if we can get bit. Please, I'm so thirsty. You may drink a glass of water if you like. Thank you, so refreshing. I too will have a refreshing drink. Blah. Ow. So now we're bleeding. Which we haven't died from bleeding, and now would be, I guess, a decent time to potentially just let ourselves die from bleeding. You want to see the movie? I'm bleeding badly. So is that a no? That's a no. So we have to figure out if we can get the bear to maul us while we're bleeding. Nope, bear's gone. Is there more over in the corner? No. If we die in the graveyard, for instance, would that perhaps turn us into a ghost? Alright, passed out. Okay. It's getting fairly repetitive now. We found 3 hats. We need a way to tell our fortune. We need a way to do something with the bees, because this is a solution that leads to something else. You walk out this door and you have the bees. Hannah Hivehead. How holds the host of heavenly bees? Stingy. Just looking all around to make sure I'm not missing something. Hey! Why would you bring bees in here? They won't leave me alone. Shoo shoo. Thanks. That'll be 30 beans for bee removal. I don't have any beans. Then you shall be cursed. Then I shall leave you with my curse. Alright, so now we're haunted. Which that's something different. At least. Cease scaring me, my sweet sultans, with that silly specter, spookies, scully, whatever. Didn't read all of it. Graveyard doesn't seem to get rid of ghosts. Water doesn't seem to get rid of ghosts. What about vampires? Do they get rid of ghosts? Don't worry, I won't harm you. I'm okay. I was talking to the ghost. Blah. Ow. I think you scared him away. So there are false solutions, obviously, and then there are right solutions. And at the core of it, the right solution is going to, I think, always be a linear path. Although, and it very possibly leads directly back into dehydration. Kind of feels like there should be a timer that happens in this game at the end that would just tell you how fast you've solved the problem. Let's see. Maybe the ghost would let me in that area. Or maybe we need a blue ghost instead of a red ghost. That might be it. Why'd you bring bees in here? They won't leave me alone. Shoo shoo. Thanks. That'll be 30 beans for bee removal. I don't have any beans. Then you shall be haunted with my curse. Right. Oh, so you can walk here. Which... Okay. If I had something heavy on me, maybe that would make sense. Let's see if this girl... I wish to blow up. I mean get big. Where else would we go with the ghosts? Just, yeah. Do you perform exorcisms? Indeedly doodly. You, Mo, Guai, Fi, D, Zal. That's the Jackie Chan. Thanks. That's what Jackie Chan's uncle would repeat. In the Jackie Chan cartoon. And see, that definitely is a loop where we are just going in circles back and forth. If we went to the church and then got faith, then got the bees, then got rid of the bees via the gypsy. I wonder if the bees and the faith reference is that movie, Wicker Man, either the original or the remake. This is the graveyard. The graveyard is up north. Thanks. Okay. Welcome to our town. Scared of ghost town? Welcome to our town. Gus loves watching movies with mommy. Alright, we now found the top hat. Can we run to the well and get poisoned? Perry's pulled into the spirit realm. Okay. So we found one more hat. But it feels like there's 8, but maybe we only need 4. And that is going to be the problem. Certainly that we're going to run into. No matter how we play this, is that there's always going to be this possibility of getting getting just enough. We may very well get an air tank at some point, and then being underwater would not be such an issue. More dialogue here. I'm pretty much skipping this because it's really just in the way dialogue. We don't have like a vet. Wonder if the joke that he's a big fan of Legos is a statement statement of the hats interconnecting. Where else could we go if we were bleeding besides the hospital? Did you get attacked by Dracula? Either that or the outhouse bear. After all his blood loss, it's kind of hazy. The wise man once said, "Let pooping bears poop." Same goes for Dracula's. Okay. I wish the guy wasn't getting blood on my shoes. Why am I on fire? Alright, now I'm on fire. Now, Well, I can't help but just assume. No smoking inside the theater. I'm gonna have to ask you to put yourself out before you can enter. Well, let's see what happens here. You just poisoned again. Hmm. And so you have to be in a specific state to trigger certain things. And so this is quite the puzzle. My love for you is like diarrhea. I just can't hold it in. Haha, that's gross. I gotta go. And so we're pretty much gonna have to brute force this. You smell foul. I've been a bit tooty. May I use your restroom? I do not have one. Really? Why not? I'm a vampire. I no longer have such mortal restraints. Vampires don't pee. Of course vampires pee. It's the restrooms we eschew. Maha. Let's just let this guy bite us. And then let's run around and see if we can do anything here. When I wear all my hats, my AC is -10. Which AC I assume is some kind of like RPG stat. I bet you think you're real fashionable wearing your blood on the outside, huh? Like, in what scenario would bleeding help? Did you hear the one about the vegan vampire? Count Ducula or Bunnicula? Neither of those. Then no. He only drank blood oranges. Yep. We still have yet to find a scenario where that works. And you can use the tram. Very passed out. It's apparently bleeding to death is either one I've already done or okay. I'm thirsty, but not that thirsty. So there is something clearly I'm doing wrong to like get this bear into the bathroom or to chase me in some way. Again, at some point I'm gonna have to get heavier to fall through that section. It does just kind of feel like we are missing something though. We've got this path and this path. It's not like this is a particularly complicated underwater section, and there's nothing but this. And when you pause, it doesn't tell you what you've collected. Not that you would need it, because I think you're just going to keep on playing. Let's see. The leech solution. Do you have a coin? No, just this leech. You can't wish on a leech. So, hello? Growl. Ow. So we did figure that out. Now we're on fire. If we're on fire, like fire effects, refrain whatever. Read it yourself, I suppose. Ooh. We can light these. So now we have a secret pathway. We found something new. Ipped fire. I know. It's out. Thanks, I think. So now we've been petrified. I'm easily startled. What should I do about this whole petrification thing? Try mandragora gravy. Should clear that up. I know just a place. There's a hat. Alright, well. We're gonna have to rush to reach the graveyard, but if we make it, we found another hat, at least. In the graveyard, do you have any mandragora gravy? Of course. Really? I need some right away. We don't serve breakfast past 10. Seriously? Barry's become completely petrified. Now, oddly, this is not giving us any achievements. And definitely not giving us achievements at the rate I would like. This is kind of ridiculous. As we're figuring out these steps, because there clearly is just like one long path here that you have to follow. And some things are in the way of other things. Let's see what happens when we click this when we have bees. Hello? Bro. Alright, we're now bleeding. Like, who is affected by the ghosts? Is the next question. And baseball cap is labeled as 1 of 8, so we do now know that the numbers aren't specific. You can't jump back into the water, I guess. Keep leech. The leech fell off. Thanks. Don't mention it. Let's see if the vampire has mandragora gravy. Please help me. I think I'm turning to stone. I will make this quick then. Blah. Heck, you're like iron. Yeah, that's what I was telling you before you tried to bite me. I think I chipped a tooth. It serves you right. How dare you speak to me with such insolence? Bite me. Okay. Your legs must be tired. You don't have any legs. You're an idiot. I think my brain is turning to stone. I don't think I have time here. I was watching the stampede string with a low-flying cactus, knocked my propeller hat clean off the... whatever. Yeah. At 50 minutes in, I'm fairly done with this. Like, there's too much repetition here. The idea is funny, but honestly, this is probably 2 or 3 skits that you could have done in a more traditional point-and-click adventure, where there's scenarios like this, and then there would be some cutscenes, and the puzzle would involve just like 2 or 3 things instead of involving potentially significant numbers of things. See, that's wrong. You have to open this, and then we have to probably not have anything scary. There, and I was able to drink water and put myself out. See if bees scare her. Eat bees. Those things don't hurt you, I'm invincible. You're actually turning to stone. Oh. See if this guy can do this. I met Medusa and now I'm turning to stone. I was just preparing some life noodles in this soup. Help yourself to a bowl. And so that breaks petrification, but I don't think that's the real solution. And clearly there are some things that trigger. So there's a decent amount of stuff here that you don't have access to straight off the bat. Yeah. But the repetition is getting fairly bad. As far as the bleeding, unless this kid wants to see me bleeding, like, nope. Like, it seems like the two kids are not really going to give you hints at all. So, alright, so you have to be dehydrated to get the coonskin cap. Well, you probably have to be dehydrated also to reach this point. If you disturb Medusa while she's sleeping, you're gonna have a bad time. Okay. So how do we not disturb Medusa? That's the question. Let's get the blue ghost and see if this scares away the cat in the same way that the other one does. Oh, I bet I'm supposed to take the petrification, and since I'm turning to stone, then I would be heavy and be able to get into the other area. The third gypsy cart. That would make some sense. Right. Gus loves watching movies with mommy. Alright. See if this one can get rid of ghosts. Nope. Can't drink water. Let's just see if we can get this guy to bite us real fast. If we're bleeding. You can't get up the ladder. We haven't found any of the Mangordia gravy either. We're close towards, I think, doing everything. If the number of hats are any indication. I wish I was those hard rock abs. That's pretty great. Seems like she makes the jokes. Like a lot of these characters make jokes. We're in here. Oh no, you've been petrified. What was the name of that spell again? Aha. Thank you for helping me. My sisters imprisoned me in this wagon because they were jealous of my hacky sack skills. You play hacky sack, so do I. Let's play.
And they played hacky sack happily ever after.
Wow. Is that the only good ending? Well, once I unplugged the controller back, we now have press A to peril. Interesting. So just an hour in, let's see. I'm gonna look at the achievements. So it's gonna go quiet. There are 6 hidden achievements left, which I feel like you would have to work towards. You have a popular reference, which is Don't Poop My Pants was an old game. I think I did cover it, as maybe I didn't. It was kind of short and silly. Well, this game is a little bit longer than that. It's Don't Poop Your Pants. Then we have Hacky Sack for Life. So there are like multiple endings, which is all fine and well, but I question how, if I could find them all. Did we find a use for the bees? Have we found use for the bleeding? The bees give us the ghost. The ghost gives us the like, the bees also give us being blinded. Would being blinded help us in any way? There's a lot of things to run into. Top hat. Talking to this guy. There's a Ghostbusters reference. Does feel like we are going to just constantly find more references. Right, no time there. So we need to figure out where the state of blinded helps, because every state, I think, probably leads to A hat, and B, something that would move the story forward and the puzzle forward. So yeah, we'll come over here. So we'll just see if being blinded helps. Why do you taste like burning? I got sprayed by the mermaid. I hate spicy food. Okay, so I'm still blinded and spicy. Does that mean the snake? I think the hospital is wrong. Yeah. I think what you're supposed to do is recognize that the well is a puzzle piece, but the hospital is actually a reset piece. And so is this outhouse, is that it is just a reset piece at times. So let's be poisoned by a snake. Then let's go up here and see if we can then pass the poison to the vampire. Please help me, I got bit by a snake. Stand still, I'll suck out the poison, blah. Ow. So, bleeding. Is there another state? Or another place where bleeding would be useful? There's just so many like buildings that you can't get into. Also. Okay. I think we probably need to go to the ice cream shop and just get hints. Always. Because it does seem like that's the way this is gonna play out. So we'll grab something, then we'll run back and talk to the ice cream shop kid and see if that's something different. We'll also talk to other people. Nothing there. Nothing there. I don't think that guy's gonna ever be helpful. Rum Tum Tiger is a curious cat. If you bring him to the beach, he'd rather catch a bee. If you offer him a bee, he'd opt to climb a tree. If you put him in the tree, he chose to chase the bat. And that's a reference to cats. Okay, passed out. Okay, so poisoned state. Let's see what that tells us. When Carbuckety got bit by a snake, we had to go to the hospital. So it does seem like poisoned always is hospital. And maybe that is just the like tutorial action. We already tried that one. We already talked to that one. Let's see. Can't just drink the holy water to get out of that one. Wish I had a sandwich, a dagwood if possible. Hmm. Hmm. So the only thing that I don't feel like I've been able to do is get into the movie theater. And I seemingly have yet to find out how to get in the top of the lighthouse. But I don't really see any other hats other than the hat around not startling. Let's see what the leech says as far as ice cream girl. She seems to be our hint giver. After bath time, Girl Togo always climbs up the curtains. Hmm. 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 Yeah, I still don't feel like we... Alright, so she gets the leech off, and now we're blinded. What's the value of being blinded? Korokopta and Tantomil are always together. They don't play well with Mistopheles. These are all just like references to cats. I see the movie, my face is burning, I can't see anything. Then why are you at a theater? Because I can't see where I'm going. Let's see if there's anything here. My face is burning. Take a free sample of our hot new gravy. Thanks. It's still burning. What kind of gravy is that? It's face melting chili gravy. Over 9 million Scoville cells. The spiciest gravy in town. I don't even know why I bothered to do that. Yeah, I think at this point, an hour in though, I think I just need straight up a guide, because either I've found most of the hats and just need to collect them and see if that gets us tall enough, or there are 3 more hats to collect, because I think I've found 5 in total. Yeah. There might be 3 more hats in total. Maybe if I was blinded, I could talk to that girl. And fire clearly opens up an area, so it would be weird to believe that fire did anything more. But I think we kind of have to test it, and we have to just run. And you can definitely see how this map couldn't really be any bigger. One of Tumto's tail caught on fire and you lit all the candles in the house. He's a clever kitty. Okay. I'm on fire. Yep. I guess the question would be, Um, like, what are we still missing? Like, we clearly are still missing something. We've gotten 2 hats. We can get 1 more hat. But I wonder if I just need to be petrified. Possibly. And then go to the gypsies to have the petrification removed. That one doesn't do anything. Right. See, and at that point, that's where it feels like you've starting to run out of solutions. Let's run up here. Right. Now that we're bleeding. Okay. I wonder if possibly what we're supposed to do is depetrify ourselves and then just go back a second time. Maybe that is the solution. To make it all the way to the hint section would be quite the challenge. So you become cursed, but that did depetrify you. But that doesn't feel like that really solves the issue. Yeah, it seems like we'll just get petrified again. Alright. There's only one thing we say to Sleeping Medusa, not today. So how do we get her to not be sleeping? Let's see, what's the hint here? She never leaves the house. None of these other doors open. We'll go over and talk to this kid. We got a hat. So we've found 5 out of 8, but honestly at this point I think I need a guide, because at an hour and 14 minutes in, it feels like you would just bang your head against this. And maybe I've just become a bit of a lazy gamer at this point, but Hmm. But yeah, there's literally two um, two guides in total on this on Steam, and see, we can die of being depressed. Um, if we have bees, haunts, or even soften your petrified heart. Um, okay. So, of the different ways you can die, the different crises as they're labeled, there's dehydration. We've done that. Poisoned. I think we've done that. Diarrhea. We've definitely done that. Drowning, which I think we've done that. Leech. Blinded. Bleeding. Fire. Um, petrified. Haunt. Depressed. Faith. And bees. So the only one we really haven't done is depressed, by the looks of it, and that should probably give us an achievement. Also, in this guide, where the text is too small for me to really read, there is several hints at ways you can get rid of um, um, there's different ways you can get rid of different things. See, poisoned. I think though seems to be apparently you have to die from both the red ghost and the blue ghost. Okay. Well, that clears something out, and certainly, and it would have been very helpful for them to have just told me what the endings are as achievements instead of making them hidden achievements. Although, in all fairness, I could probably just have looked at all the achievements. Let me check if that's actually the case, because you can view my achievements and then you can view global achievement state, and when you see the global achievements, it tends to not hide anything anymore. So the one achievement that 79.4% of people got was the don't poop yourself ending, and then only 43% of players, and this is a rather short game, again, got the cable car escape, the seclusion conclusion is at 39.7%. The just like the Belmont Inn, but with bees, 34.7%. The hacky sack ending that I found, 29.5% of people played. People person is 21.6%. Crisis collector as an achievement is 21.3%. And out of the fire into the falls was 20.2%. So some of these definitely are around the idea of just getting all the crises. Yeah, there's a YouTube video here, but didn't actually play. Okay, but that I think helps a little bit. Certainly to once again just know what the endings are and know what the achievements are. So let me click back on the window so the audio starts playing and it unpauses, and you can certainly cheat there. So if there's a people person, I wonder if you get an ending just talking to this guy multiple times. Like, it kind of feels like this would be the only way you could possibly talk to him as much as I am talking to him. What's funny is the hats do seem like they are basically extra. Like, because that, yeah, it doesn't really feel like that is a solution. Let's just talk to everybody in the town while we can. Just stay in conversation. Big girl sees the potty. Some of these solutions do seem to be very linear, and they kind of need to be fairly linear because otherwise you would really just fail fairly miserably if you didn't. You would get too confused. Alright. So I'm just gonna stand here and see if this gets us an ending. This is the seclusion conclusion, I suspect. But I have no idea how you'd get the cable car escape. My suspicion is that what happens is you have to get all the hats to get to the top of the lighthouse to call the cable car first, and because the hats are an obvious linear progression, that led more players to actually be able to figure out that they needed to seek out that solution. Of course, this would be not talking to everybody in the town. It's really dangerous out there. Can I just stay here? Stay as long as you like. 1 year later. This is nice. So there's the conclusion. Alright. Cable car escape. Like the only other thing I could think is that like, I don't know what else would control this. You see this mechanism with a pipe going downward, but yeah. It's a drinking fountain upstairs. Yeah, I guess if you were going to talk to everybody, though, you really would have to talk to everybody. Can we poop in the fountain? No. Yep. When you're dehydrated, just go in here. Just like Belmont, but with bees. Have we ever actually drowned? I think we'll stick with this and just let ourselves drown. Since we know that the depression is really the main one we haven't even done yet, we've pretty much found all the endings. I would have to say that while this starts off kind of fun and high energy and cartoony as far as the death, yeah, I don't think we've done that one before. It kind of falls apart an hour in. That the actual gameplay mechanic here gets in the way of what would have been kind of funny cutscenes. I would have kind of preferred to simply have smaller puzzles with 3 or 4 rooms instead of giant open areas, or a smaller giant area to solve one crisis, and then the story would move forward and time would move forward, and then you'd have another crisis with some other puzzles, maybe in the same area even, but just with less things you could actually interact with. You have to leave the bees outside. That's the plan. One, please. After the film, depression. So this was the one thing. That was the film, depressing. That almost certainly I knew they were going to do something with this. With you don't reference Grave of the Fireflies. Grave of the Fireflies is it's probably one of the most depressing movies out there. Like maybe up there with like Schindler's List or something like that. But so we need to die with depression and probably die with the red ghost or blue ghost, the one on the right. And then that should be all the different ways to die and get Crisis Collector. Once we've gotten Crisis Collector, we've mostly seen what the game has to offer, and then it is just a matter of seeing if we can find something else. Alright. Like out of the fire into the falls. I think means we probably need to set ourselves on fire and jump into where the cable car is. We still are at least 2 hats short. And they basically have to be hats that like they have to be hats that people are holding on to. Well, while this is happening, you know what I'll do is I'll just pull my cell phone to the side and look up to see if I can find better information as far as the endings instead of just the Steam forums. Although like the Steam forums, I think are fairly get it as good as a lot of websites these days as far as telling you what to do. Pulled into the spirit realm. Okay. So we'll just sit here and wait. Trophy activation patch update happened on PlayStation. The PlayStation guide here should be as good as anything. Work on 4 of the 5 endings. There's one called Highlander on Steam, on PlayStation that's not here. Let's see. To get the cable car escape ending, you need to talk to the boy next to the cable car while depressed. Okay. That's all I really needed to know. So we'll pull that off immediately. And yeah, I could definitely see why over half of the players never got that ending, because yeah, getting depressed, particularly if you don't know what Grave of the Fireflies is about. Like, sure, the name sounds a little depressing, but I could see a lot of people not knowing it. In fact, it's kind of a hard movie to even recommend people watch. Like, don't watch it alone. Don't watch it if you're depressed, definitely. But yeah, in a lot of ways, if you're even slightly emotionally affected by movies, it's going to be a tough watch. So much so that even I, who isn't particularly affected by movies, wouldn't really want to watch it ever again. Have you been to the movies lately? I saw Grave of the Fireflies and now I'm depressed. I want to see the new pirate movie, but I can't. How come? It's rated R. Ha 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 ha. Feel better, thanks, kid. So that he made you laugh, and then that causes the cable car to show up.
Perry Merriweather, age 25.
There is actual voice acting just at the end here.
Leaving the Perils village, he rode the cable car down the mountain to safety.
It's kind of pointless to have voice acting in one ending, and that's it. Might as well have him. This is definitely a game that you couldn't expand too much onto. It's too much work, and it's a one-note gag.
He keeps moving forward, always on the lookout for new perils and solutions. Who knows? Perhaps someday he may even save the world.
It kind of ridiculous to have a voice acting in just one ending. There is a game that came out a few years later after this one, made by a different company called Little Miss something, which is much better, like, written, frankly. I'd have to try and see if I can figure it out, but let's just try and find the next ending. We already did seclusion conclusion. Just like Belmont with bees. Ending is attained by talking to the vampire in the castle to the top left while having flaming bees around Perry's head. Okay. So we have to have flaming bees. Okay. That wouldn't be probably too hard. Just have to have bees and then fire, I'd assume, because you kind of less likely to have fire than bees. So now we have flaming bees. That's different. But it's still just labeled as bees. Yeah. The Little Misadventures is much more dialogue. Who dares enter my sanctum? Me and my flaming holy bees. No, not flaming holy bees, my only weakness. So you have a very differently animated ending here. They're really experimenting.
Savoured the sunset's serene glow and the ephemeral safety it afforded, trying not to worry about what it ushered.
This is another voice acted one, and I guess the idea is that these are references to video games, but better, much better than TikTok Isle, where the references were just pixel art images in the background on paintings. At least the endings here are an actual reward for beating the game and finding an ending. Although it's kind of ridiculous that you can beat a game and find an ending in less than a minute if you know what to do and if you played the game a little bit.
As the last rays of light slipped behind the horizon, Perry sighed to himself. How'd I even get up here?
So people person would be the next achievement. We need to talk to every NPC in town, but the trickiest element is that in order for an NPC conversation to count, it must be done outside of a peril solution. That is to say, you can't talk to a priest in the abbey when you're bleeding or swarmed by bees for a chat, but if you talk to him when you need to use this holy water to drink or put out your flames on your head, or if you're depressed and talk to him to receive the torque hat, it will not count. Maybe you don't have to talk to the bear either, or Pokey. Interesting. So, how many people can we talk to start with? Without, because we're gonna have to run and talk to everybody while in dehydration mode. I assume that's what they mean by not really being in a peril situation. And then we're probably gonna have to drink water. Like we don't really have any more time, so we'll talk to this character. Alright, so then that resets you. We've gotten most of the people on this screen talked to. Okay. Can't talk to that character. The weird thing here though is you're gonna have to kind of struggle to get this done and make sure you've got everybody to talk to, because like there's several people here that don't show up at first and show up later. Now I could definitely see why this guy you could never talk to while drowning, because I've yet to see a scenario where you could be down here and talking to him and you wouldn't be drowning. So fix the bleeding, and we're back to dehydration. Then we'll run up here. This guy's gonna bite me. So he'll bite me again, and yeah. We'll again get a band-aid. So we haven't talked to the well lady, we haven't talked to the third sister, we haven't talked to this character yet. I haven't talked to the bear in the toilet, but she's not there. She's not there. So like trying to move the story forward to see what happens if they get electrified. That scares the ghost away, at least. Yeah, I think the problem here is that you run into a situation where I don't know a way to actually talk to the bear and have the bear where he needs to be without it being a scenario where you're in some drama. Let's see. Like, I'm gonna just have to pause it and figure out, like, how do you talk to Medusa? There's a YouTube video here. Let me turn down the audio. And see if I can just launch this into the player itself. It does seem like bleeding also counts, so maybe you just need to talk to people when you are actively not going to get a solution. Yeah, that's what it seems like, is that you just have to talk to people when you're not triggering some other solution, more than you have to talk to them specifically when you are in a crisis. And actually, it doesn't even seem like it's that accurate. Okay. Alright, I see. The blindedness, and I guess I should have figured this out, is what you use to get to is how you get to Medusa which means also it's how you get that hat. So if this doesn't trigger an ending, we should just try and get all the hats around. Okay, so we walk in and out. Do the bees attack us? No. It looks like there is probably some dialogue here that we hadn't seen before. It does make sense that being blinded by the bug spray over here would potentially stop you from being turned to stone. But the game does kind of a very poor job of making you think that the start on this. Excuse me, but I'm lost and my face is burning. Excuse me, but I'm trying to watch my stories. Alright. So we now have the sombrero. How do we solve blindedness though? Right, well, like, and it gets that done. Is the lady still missing? We'll go over here and talk to her. So we haven't talked to the lady by the well yet. There we go. We just got the people person achievement, which isn't apparently an actual ending. Or if it is an actual ending, it involves talking to someone else. Alright, we gotta run, Unless we can get poisoned. I'm not gonna make it. Wow. So just smash that. Okay, what hat are we missing at the moment? The petrified hat from the kid. And the depressed hat from the priest. Can we depetrify ourselves in time though? If we get to the kid. Can you undo petrifies? Ooh. Yeah, the petrification is going to be a problem. Let's see. we've already done crisis collector. No, we haven't. Is that because we haven't died of depression? Or if we haven't died of being blind? Yeah, we're still trying to do all of the endings, so we should try and die of depression. Which, yeah, didn't need to do that. Let's see. We're making all the wrong moves. Yeah, you kind of have to reset everything. Yeah, we'll die of depression. We'll die of being blind. That should be the last two crises that we haven't died of. We definitely have died of petrification. We may have already died of being blind. We have now talked to everybody, so we don't have specific reasons to talk to people unless we know it's going to lead us to a solution. Okay. So we got the coonskin cap. You need to go to the outhouse when you're poisoned, which I don't think I would have ever figured that out. That gets you the bowler hat. Let's see, we know how to get the top hat at the ice cream parlor. The knitted hat is the abbey when you're talk to the priest when you're depressed. Sombrero is where the Medusa is. The diving helmet is from Pokey. And then the propeller hat says, send Perry over the cable car to talk to the boy right after getting petrified with Medusa. The boy will tell you a joke and you'll receive the hat. Please note you will still need to make it to the movie theater the gypsies through, though they are further away and might not be an option to cure the petrification before he passes out, which would void all collection. Once you've collected all the hats, you will receive the trophy. It's important to note you should next get Perry to suffer from the flame peril from bleeding on the woman at the well or climbing the tree at the bottom of the area of the map and head straight to the lighthouse. When you arrive inside the lighthouse, you should be able to climb the hats, reach to light the lighthouse beacon. Now jump out of the left side window to initiate out of the fire and into the falls. Okay. I got that. Then did we get Crisis Collector? That's the question. Let's test that here and here. We have not gotten Crisis Collector yet, which I have to assume means we just need to be blinded. And try and die from being blinded. We have done draining. I'm fairly certain we've been on fire and burnt to death, but maybe we haven't. I guess if blinded doesn't work, next step would be to set ourselves on fire and see if maybe we just never did that one. Because the game is set in such a way that you are trying to avoid these endings, it's kind of counter-logical to keep count of how many times you actually did fail. Poison, diarrhea, drowning, leech. Maybe I haven't died of the leech. Bleeding, maybe not. Bled to death. Fire. Faith we did. Let's see. Bees. Have we had the bees kill us? Petrification. Haunted. What the red and blue ghosts. Depression. And blind. So, yeah. I'm thinking if it's not fire, it's gotta be bees. If it's not bees, it's gotta be it's gotta be something like the leech or bleeding. And there, of course, there's no way you could pull this off in one run. There. It's kind of funny you have this octopus arm that grabs you, but then you don't actually deal with an octopus. We'll see if it's the leech. Otherwise, we're back to fire, then bleeding. This is one of those games, though, where I'd really have to question whether there's any value in a sequel. It does kind of just feel like that would it would be more of the same and fairly dull. That there is really a case here where you needed potentially closer to 26 instead of 7 achievements, all with kind of easier to figure out and obviously highlighted and told to you endings. Of course, you could say something like Nier Automata is kind of a great example of a game that has like 26 endings and is incredibly long. Although Nier Automata being a JRPG also runs into the standard problem of JRPGs being too long and a little repetitive and grindy. This highlights it more because it doesn't have a gameplay mechanic. Or much of a gameplay mechanic. Yeah. It's possible that the bees haven't ever killed me. We'll just let the flaming bees kill me because that's not going to work anyways. We would have had to get the bees, and then we would have had to have them exorcised by the gypsies and then start itself on fire. I wish there was just more conversation. This game is not too different from something like Leisure Suit Larry, where Leisure Suit Larry has the goal of getting laid throughout the entire games and maybe succeeds at the end of the entire point and click adventure, but he's constantly trying to solve puzzles to well, that didn't do it either. is constantly trying to solve puzzles to get the next item, to get to the next place. If there was one screen and you had to figure out a way, if there was some just gatekeeping where you had to figure out a way to unlock the next screen, and once you unlocked the next screen, that was your checkpoint, you could have this idea continue. Oh, the game I was thinking of was called Little Misfortune. That's the name of the game, that tells a story very similar to this experience, but it does it in a more linear narrative way and less of an open world way, where I don't know if this is really being benefited much by being an open world game, or trying to be an open world game, because at the end of the day, there really isn't that much open to these fields and these environments. You still have everything in the exact same space. Maybe you could add some replayability by having things randomly spawn and then they'd be in different places, or having a B game where things are in different places. But I don't know if you could make something that was a roguelike, for instance, where your goal was to find ways to kill you. In a lot of ways, this is basically just an escape room where there's a key and a lock. It just happens to be that the keys are the disasters, the crises, and the lock is your survival or your death. Okay. So why have I not died? Like, it's either, it must be bleeding. Like, we've seemingly died from everything else. Like, yeah. But yeah, 2 hours in to this game, and yeah, this was definitely a game that might have been broken up into a couple different episodes, and I'm glad I didn't do that, because yeah, there really wouldn't be a lot to show in a second episode of this. Particularly since I am just sitting here waiting for the timer to go down, and I think a lot of players would run into that scenario fairly often. It probably wouldn't be too terrible if you could just hold the X button or the Y button to die instantaneously from that effect. That would be a quality of life improvement, certainly. We've done blind, we've done depression, I think. We've done haunted with the blue and red. We'll try the red again, I guess. Interesting, the blue ghost will replace the red ghost. So I'm not paying attention. Let's see, options. Oh, I see why I'm doing this wrong. You've got to get all the crises in one run and not die, but actually switch them around. Well, then there's basically no way you would ever figure this out. Alright, so I'll just follow the guide completely. You go here, you go this way, you go this way, you get diarrhea. And then you don't ever need to reset anything. I needed to go a different direction. Hopefully I have enough time. So then you just walk back out. Then you walk up here. Then you run here. Need to pause while I'm reading, otherwise I'm gonna run out of time if I'm not careful. Let's see, let's pause for the moment. There's not a real explanation why when you're bleeding and you talk to this lady, you start on fire. Alright. Okay. This is where it gets a little complicated. You run this way once you're on fire. Here. And there seemingly is no achievement for curing depression. And then you run over this way to get faith. And then you run down here to get bees. And then you get this way to be petrified. Then you run this way to the gypsies to get unpetrified and cursed. So that's a red ghost. And then you run out this way. You have a class 5 ghost following you, I've noticed. Shoot, that'll be 50 beans. Alright, so that's both ghosts. Then you've got to take the ghost to the movie theater. Which I guess it being haunted lets you go into the movie theater. So we're still now seeing more dialogue. So now we're depressed. And we'll see one more bit of dialogue that we've never seen before, talking to the mermaid depressed. As we get blinded. Hey, why are you so mopey? Lots of reasons. Pick one. There's a cute mermaid that won't go out with me. Maybe she's just playing hard to get. Do you think so? Who knows? It burns. So there is Crisis Collector. And yeah, that certainly explains a lot as to why you would not really get that, and only 21.3% of players on Steam have gotten that. Because, yeah. That is a nightmare scenario. Here we go. Bees. What do bees get us? Now let's collect all the caps. And that would be the last thing. Then we'll go and get some more caps. And the one we haven't done before particularly has been poisoned and gone to the outhouse. Okay. And we also haven't been depressed and gone to the we haven't gone to the Abbey. But we don't have a scenario here where we really need to eat the flower from this flower kid to cure depression. It's dangerous to go alone. Take this. Now we have the knitted cat. Thanks. Alright. Let's get the other hat from Pokey. And then we need to get petrified. Let's see if we can do that. This is like the most dangerous one. So you want to be extremely careful to not end up crashing into anything, and to try and just move as fast as possible as you're hopping. So yeah, I know where one is. Where is the other? I guess we'll eat the flower here just for the sake of doing it. So eating the flower gives you diarrhea. Interesting. Alright, now we're back to dehydration. So we'll get poisoned and get that final hat. Or the second to last hat. Yeah, there really isn't enough game here. What could possibly be an analyst that could help me with a snake bite? I should check just to be sure. Hey, it's a hat. You got the bowler hat. Yeah. There's not enough game here to justify these achievements being this difficult. Achievements are supposed to generally make you want to play more of the game. Oh, I bet I haven't gotten the coonskin hat from the guy. That's my guess. But achievements can't be the only reason you're playing a game. Otherwise, you've just made an achievement game, and particularly on PC and Steam, that becomes a problem. There we go, we've gotten them all. The raccoon cap. Yeah. This dangerously gets to an achievement game where the only reason you're playing it is to get all the achievements, and frankly, if they were a little bit more difficult, took up a little bit more time, I wouldn't bother to do it. And because this game is short, much like TikTok Isle, if I had just played this game a little bit faster, or just gotten to one ending, I would have been under the 2 hours, no question asked, refund limit on Steam. I could have easily just refunded this game. And this game sells for $3.99, unlike 99 cents for TikTok Isle. So you're paying like four times as much for just about the same amount of gameplay. It is better gameplay than TikTok Isle, certainly, but it is still not to a level where I'd say it is excellent gameplay to justify that shortness. But also, because it's not excellent gameplay, I wouldn't want more either. So yeah, at the end of the day, I would think I would just have to suggest maybe not bothering with this game either, because it doesn't have a lot to offer. Okay. We need to be on fire before we climb the hats, and then we'll be done. And it feels like the hats probably stack in different ways, whereas I feel like that's kind of like extra and a little unnecessary. Yeah, well, solve a dehydration by getting bees. We'll then go to the gypsy to get rid of the bees, and then we'll start ourselves on fire. And can't walk down the screen on those sections. There's some rough programming here. It also creates a weird situation where this creator clearly improved a lot compared to TikTok Isle, but it's taking an awful slow time to actually improve. And by the time he is released, or this company has released their third game, they arguably would be 12 plus years in the business of making video games, and still barely will be at a level of what an average game creator would be at. Right. Up, and up we go. I light the flame, and then out the window. And see, once again, we have no voice acting on this ending. It's sure lucky the lighthouse is running, or I wouldn't have seen you. Are you okay? I think so. Would you like a ride downstream? Yes, please. Thank you. My pleasure. You should put on this life jacket. We're about to go over the falls and hit the rapids. So, yeah, I don't even know what this is specifically supposed to be a reference to, or if it is just a joke. But yeah, that's all the achievements. I still kind of hate that achievements on Steam are kind of tied into the Steam overlay instead of their own notifications, but it keeps things, I guess, connected, and does allow for you to turn them off globally if you don't want to see notifications from achievements. In a game like this, though, you definitely would want to see notifications for achievements, or you would be playing in a very, very different way. Well, when you have short games like this, there's really not a lot to say. It's hard to suggest playing this, particularly at $4. Maybe if you got it down to $1.99, that would be better, but it is extremely linear, and it is complicated enough that you really wouldn't want to wander around trying to find the solutions yourself after a while. I would say if you can find one or two endings that are good endings before using a walkthrough is probably as good as most people are going to get. Like, if you look at the statistics, that's pretty much the case, is that most people found the pooping yourself ending, and less than half of the players found the cable car escape, and then the percentages just go down and down from that point. So we've sucked as much content out of this game as it offers, and with voice acting it would have been annoying. Without voice acting and with the timer always going, it was not productive or conductive to have me actually read the dialogue. So there were several times when I was just hitting the A button and kind of skipping it, and where I wouldn't generally have done that otherwise. I would definitely recommend playing Little Misfortune over Merrily Perilly first, but then maybe not, because you probably then wouldn't want to play Merrily Perilly at all. So I sadly would have to say probably play Little Misfortune. I haven't even covered that game, but I've seen other people play it, and I think the story writing there is stronger. I think it has a more intriguing concept that it's doing, and while still generally playing around the idea of puzzles and dark humor. Dark humor in general is very hard to do, I think, particularly in video games, because video games often have that feel and air of supposed to be kid friendly, even though most video games are rated M for mature, and this would probably not be one that would be anything below teen plus in itself, but they feel like they're supposed to be kid friendly a lot, and so dark humor happens very rarely. And yeah, I guess I don't really have anything else to say. That's gonna be it for this. I guess this was a spotlight of Merrily Perilly. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.